Realme adheres to one primary strategy, bombarding the budget segment with tons of phones. Sure, it gives buyers plenty of options to choose from, but not without added confusion. That is the case with Realme's 9 series, which has already seen 6 handsets in just a couple of months, including the newly launched Realme 9, a 4G-only variant of its 5G sibling. However, the latest Realme 9 series is well represented in the UK and Europe. 5 of the 6 handsets have made it to these shores, including the regular Realme 9. At €279, it's still just about in budget phone territory, but the Realme 9 5G is available for the same price. The standard model is limited to 4G, but offers some better specs elsewhere. Is that enough to make it a realistic option, or should you opt for one of the many great alternatives around this price? I spent a few weeks with the Realme 9 to find out. The Realme 9 might be a budget phone, but its bold design is sure to turn heads. That might not be apparent from the front, but flipping it over reveals the eye-catching plastic finish. It's glossy and reflects and shimmers in a way that imitates glass, but without the increased weight or fragility. The effect is instantly visible on the vibrant sunburst gold model I tested, but you'll still notice it on the Stargaze white and Meteor black versions. I initially found this annoying, but it grew on me during my testing time. Not everyone will find it aesthetically pleasing, though, and you'll need to go case-free to see the full benefit. The durable plastic back meant I wasn't too worried about damaging the phone, even before applying the tinted silicone case included in the box. It offers plenty of grip. I also appreciated Realme's decision not to include its Dare to Leap slogan in big letters on the back of the phone. That's something we've seen in the past, but the smaller Realme logo here is much more tasteful. By 2022 standards, Realme has opted for a traditional design on the front. The only real feature of note is the punch hole for the selfie camera in the top left corner. The Realme 9 also has an optical in-display fingerprint scanner, but I wish it didn't. Enrolling is easy enough, but I consistently struggle to unlock the phone this way. Less than half of my attempts were successful, and even then it was much slower than many other phones. Slim bezels can be found on the top and sides of the phone, but the phone still has a large chin. The USB-C port and downward-firing speaker can be found at the bottom, alongside a 3.5mm headphone jack. It's rare to see the option to connect wired headphones these days, but I appreciate its inclusion here. Despite the large display, Realme 9 remains impressively compact. At 8mm thick and 178 grams, it's one of the most portable and pocketable big-screen phones around. It is common for most phones in this range to launch with older Android versions, but Realme is thankfully bucking that trend. The 9 4G comes running Realme UI 3.0 on top of Android 12, and the company also proactively released the April patch last week. The performance hitches are most likely thanks to the Snapdragon 680 processor we saw on the Realme 9i, which had a pretty disappointing performance. However, owing to better software optimization on the Realme 9, this SoC is now livable, with your usual social media and entertainment services, and switching between apps working without a hiccup. The problem comes when you push the CPU and the GPU to their limit with games like Call of Duty and Asphalt 9. The frame rate varies quite a bit in both games, and Asphalt 9 doesn't even support anything over 30 FPS. While this didn't kill the gaming experience, the Realme 9 is not a gaming phone, and is good enough only for occasional sessions. After an hour-long stress test, the Realme 9 didn't get uncomfortably warm, which says much about the phone's ability to tolerate harsh Indian summers. Battery management on the phone is slightly on the aggressive side with app notifications. On certain occasions, some non-essential notifications arrived a couple of minutes after the app sent them out. This wasn't an issue with more time-sensitive updates, including messages, emails, and reminders. The Realme 9 could afford to lighten up on the battery management, since the 5000 mAh cell offers excellent battery life. I found it pretty hard to kill the battery in a full day with my typical use, and had to use a battery drain app for one of my charging tests. I routinely ended my day with 40% of battery to spare after a day of light to medium use with 4 to 5 hours of screen on time. The inbox 33-watt charger takes about 1 hour and 20 minutes to juice up the battery, which is as fast as it gets for phones in this price bracket. Display is where the Realme 9 really excels. It's a 6.4 inches, 1080 by 2400 panel, swapping out LCD on the 5G model for superior OLED here. The screen sticks at the typical 20:9 aspect ratio, with those slim bezels giving it a respectable 84.2% screen-to-body ratio. As those specs suggest, the Realme 9 delivers an excellent viewing experience. You get vibrant colors, deep blacks, and plenty of detail. You can't ask for much more at this price. The screen also gets fairly bright, making it generally visible unless you're in direct sunlight. The only compromise is a 90Hz refresh rate, as opposed to 120Hz on the Realme 9 5G. However, this shouldn't be too much of a cause for concern, and it still provides a noticeable benefit compared to the standard 60Hz. Just make sure you turn it on in settings. As I alluded to, the Realme 9 has a single downward-firing speaker. It doesn't combine with the earpiece for a stereo setup, and the results reflect that. Despite getting impressively loud, the phone lacks bass and is prone to distortion at higher volumes. It's fine for social media and the occasional YouTube video, just not much more. The camera situation on the Realme 9 is a bit peculiar. The main sensor has a 108 megapixel resolution, but the Snapdragon 680 only supports a maximum of 64 megapixel resolution. Realme is yet to clarify how it managed to do that. There's a 108 megapixel mode in the camera app, but the shots don't look any more detailed than the normal 12 megapixel mode. The images from the main camera also look a tad blurry and soft along the edges upon closer inspection, no matter how good the ambient light is. This problem is aggravated indoors and under low light, where the phone struggles even to lock the focus. If you usually tend to snap and go, you may want to check the photo once before moving on. The accompanying 8 megapixel ultra-wide camera takes unusable photos. The shots have a watercolor effect, and little to no detail is preserved in the process, but it's fine for outdoor shots and distant landscapes. As for the 16 megapixel selfie camera, the photos taken from it have a bit muted tone, but they at least don't look over-processed, unless you've enabled its various beautification features. In ditching 5G, the regular Realme 9 delivers a solid all-around smartphone experience. The 90Hz OLED display is a joy to behold, while battery life is among the best you'll find on any smartphone. A decent camera is capable of some excellent shots, while I really enjoyed the premium appearance and lightweight build. But hit and miss performance takes the shine off the experience, while the software and in-display fingerprint sensor could both be better. It's the best phone in the Realme 9 series for most people, but that doesn't mean you should purchase it over some other great handsets available for a similar price. Thank you for watching this review. I hope this video was useful and interesting for you. If you have any questions, you can ask them in the comments below. Have a nice day and see you soon.